Christmas is on its way. How many days? Go on then. How many days? 28. Do you know why? Because every day they ask Alexa. That's how it happens. And if you haven't seen it, there's a house on Colchester Road, isn't there? A little electronic countdown. So we can't forget, no excuse. So are you good at waiting? I asked the kids and I asked the grown-ups. If you clicked your finger, would you want to click your fingers and it be here tomorrow? Yeah. Or do you actually like the build-up, the getting ready, the anticipation? No, I know. Miss Patient over there. We're a bit similar, actually. Neither of us have got a lot of patience. So there are many people in the Bible who had to wait, and a lot more than 28 days. So we're going to play a little game called higher and lower kind of game. You'll get the hang of it. So up on here in a second should be, that's the one. It's a waiting game. I don't know what I press. Is it the middle button, Ian? The right. Sorry, I've never done this before. Do I press towards that? It's going well. Where do I aim? I haven't got a telly or a... Oh, okay. Okay, so you need to decide how long you have to wait or how long the people waited for such things. Oh, shoot. You got it. Well done. That was a practice round. Right, press it once now and be patient not to press it again. I'm giving up. Can you press it for me? And I think this is going to be a disaster. Okay, so for Joseph, for God's promise to be fulfilled. Now, Shane and I had a little practice run, and we realised that there's a bit of debate around some of these things. So shout out a number. How many years do you think Joseph had to wait for his... Oh, Joseph, one with the coat. That one. Give me some numbers. Lower. Higher. Lower. Higher. Lower. So between 10 and 14, that's the closest. 12, higher. 13. 13 years. Next, please. Abraham for the heir God promised. This is the one that caused a bit of debate. I had to do a bit of maths. Less, lower. From when the promise was higher than 10, lower than 45. From when God promised and made the covenant for lots of descendants. Lower, higher than 20, lower than 27, lower than 26, higher than 24, 25 years. Well done. It's like a maths lesson. Prince Charles to be king. Oh, 70 years. Bang on the money. Next, please. Piglets to be born. 2 what months? Higher? 3 months, a little bit higher. Next one, please. 3 months, 3 weeks and 3 days. Just a bit of trivia for you. I like that fact. Next one, please. Badger cubs. Higher? Actually, it's a trick question. Let's have a look at the answer. Depends. They have like delayed fertilisation thing going on. They're always born about March. Doesn't matter when. So there we go. This is badgers. Perfect dippy egg. Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, this caused an argument between Shane and I. 4.5 minutes. He says less. Dippy one. Soldiers. Israelites to reach the promised land. Very good. Number 10 bus. Midday on a Saturday. Don't give me years, because that's not true. Lower than 10 days. Or higher than 12, sorry. Lower than 30. We've got 20 minutes. Should be 20 minutes. Next one. 5K turkey. I suddenly remembered I can't remember the answer. No, I think I've got it. Oh, I've done it in new money. I'm going to have to ask for the answer because I can't tell you a higher or lower. 3 hours, 20 minutes. 3 hours, 20 minutes, according to Jamie Oliver, who says no wrong in my book. Prophecy of Jesus' birth to be fulfilled. Lower. Obviously, there's, more than 3 days. A lot higher. Let's have an answer. 700 years. Which is a lot longer to wait for Christmas than 28 days. Can you imagine 700 years? Because, I'm going to look at my notes, I've written it all down because I'm a bit nervous, never done this before. So we're in good company. Lots of waiting people in the Bible. So we've just lit the Advent candle. So Advent is a time of waiting expectantly for the arrival of baby Jesus, the Messiah, the Saviour of the world. We have the privilege of kind of knowing the full story, but at the time, people living there didn't. God had been dropping hints for hundreds of years through his prophets about someone coming to save the world. Prophecies go back to Numbers. I see him now. A star will come out of Jacob. The scepter will rise out of Israel. And God told the Israelites through Isaiah in 7:14, therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive. He will bear a son and shall call his name Emmanuel. How long did they have to wait for Christmas? How many? 700 years, a long time to wait for Christmas. We all have things that we hope and wish for. What are you wanting for Christmas? Adults as well, we all hope. We all have we all have a Christmas list, even if we don't say it. Lego. Don't know what that is, but okay. Oh, right. A working leg. I love how you put your hands up. It's like I'm a teacher. Yes, miss. Couple of days off. Brilliant. Now, we all have things that we're hoping for. We all have that wish list. Often, they are things that will make us happy for just a short time. We all love to see children open that present and get that joy. We all want that. But chances are, in reality, in a few weeks, it will be collecting dust in a corner until, of course, someone else dares to touch it, and then it's suddenly prized possession again. Turn the page. You see, well, there's nothing wrong with giving and receiving presents or hoping, in my book, for a dry day so I can dry the washing outside and not put on heating or tumble dryer. It's not the hope that the Bible is talking about. These are things that we kind of want to happen, but not sure that they will. It can be full of doubt and uncertainty. The Bible refers to hope as being something we can confidently expect. Promises that he's collectively made to us in the Bible. For example, come to me who all are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, in Matthew. In Romans, we know all things God works for the good of those who love him and have been called according to his purpose. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Do not be afraid and don't be discouraged. For I know the plans I have for you in Jeremiah, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. These are all promises that as a group of people we can claim. They are things that we can put our hope in. And of course, God also speaks to us as individuals. He gives us words and dreams and visions. But he doesn't always tell us when. So we often have to have patience. By the way, have you guys, they're all doing something at the moment. Oh, they're not all doing something. Hang on a second. Can you guys just, those that weren't here, thank you. They're making you all a little gift and it will be clear at the end. Fantastic. Find my place. Hebrews 6:18 describes hope as an anchor for the soul. We find hope when we flee to God for refuge. It's sure and steadfast when the waves around us are like unpredictable and often fierce. And recently, I heard someone say the most dangerous thing we can lose is our hope. And looking around at the news and often closer to home in our own circles, it's easy to see hopelessness. And I think half the problem, though, is that we live in a world where it's so easy to put our hope in the wrong things, places that it won't fulfill or satisfy us. And I'll admit, I'm no stranger to burying my head in the stand and distracting myself with, I don't know, a few episodes of Grey's Anatomy and a box of biscuits. But I'm aware that's not where I'm going to find my hope, and it doesn't really help. In fact, often it can do the opposite. Joyce Meyer says that God wants us to be prisoners of hope, which I quite like. In other words, he wants us to be so locked in the hope that we believe he can change whatever needs to be changed, and we can do whatever needs to be done. But that doesn't mean it's easy. We have to be really intentional about it. And not everyone in the Bible was good at waiting. Saul failed to wait on God and took matters into his own hands. Sarai, who was Sarah, gave Abraham to her maidservant rather than waiting for her promised pregnancies. And I can empathise with them both. They both looked at the situation and did what they thought was best at the time. Sarah, Abraham's wife, it was taking too long. 10 years is a long time. And if I was her, I'd be thinking, I don't know, what if you misheard? Maybe it was just wishful thinking on my husband's part. And she'd probably come to terms with the fact that she wasn't going to be a mum. She'd probably done her grieving. She'd probably put her hopes and her dreams into a box and firmly closed the lid. And now Abraham was lifted that lid and exposed all those emotions again, and the pains and the unfulfilled dreams. And I can kind of relate to that. And I honestly would possibly done similar things. And I remember being a bit lonely in my early 20s, and feeling everyone else was in a relationship. And I kind of tried to rush ahead. But it wasn't until I refixed my eyes back on Jesus that God introduced me to Shane. But because he knew what I needed and when I was ready for it. And I'm so grateful. So what do we do while we wait? A few months back, I think, Shane spoke about waiting being an active thing. We don't just sit and do nothing hoping that something eventually will happen. A bit like the donkey, who's a bit of a hero in the Christmas story. We don't stay still, we kind of plod on. So I need the next slide, please, Ian. So I've kind of done I've put together a little top tips, I suppose, for myself as much as anybody else. So, number 1, keep praying. It says pray without ceasing in the Bible. Sometimes this is really hard, especially it's been a long time and coming. And I have to remind myself, sometimes, and remind friends that sometimes tears are prayers too. Groans are prayers. Screams are prayers. We're giving it. We're sharing our heart and our pains and our impatience with God, and that's a real gift for him. And that's the beauty of being in a family, like a church, is that we can intercede for each other when it's really tough. And number 2, please. So remember God's past faithfulness. God has proved to me time and time again that he knows me better than I know myself, and I cling to those promises, like God directs the path of the righteous. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. When things have been a bit uncertain, we just keep reminding ourselves in the past of when he has been faithful, and when he's shown us that he does know his plan, and that he has got good plans even when we can't see it. And I do love singing some songs, not in public. I'm not going to sing now, but great is thy faithfulness. Sing it. Sing it, sing it. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I've needed, thy hand hath provided. And it's a good one to sing when we're not feeling it. Just sing it, claim it. Number 3, please. Turn to praise and gratitude. Look for the blessings, however tiny they seem. There is always something, however hard it seems to find it. And number 4, please. Immerse yourself in stories in the Bible of when people have waited. More of that in a minute. These guys are doing something. How are you getting on? Good. Lovely. And number 5. Ask God to help you use this time for his glory. Allow yourself to be moulded and shaped. A few years ago, we had an unexpected visitor. Shane's dad moved back from America and was meant to stay with us for a couple of weeks while he kind of got himself settled, found a house, etc. But we very quickly noticed that he wasn't well and probably had dementia. So he ended up staying for 18 months while we sought diagnosis and found him a place to live. He was a total stranger to me. I didn't know him. And I had a 4-year-old, twin 2-year-olds, and Shane was doing shifts all hours of the day. And it was really hard. And I was just waiting for the day where I could get my family back and my house back. And my theme song through that time was Purify My Heart, because it didn't feel very pure at all. And I just kept saying, let it be like gold and precious silver. And I kept singing it and singing it and singing it. However, God used that time for good. And among so many things he taught us, he taught me how to love people that were really quite hard to love. And he gave me a vision in that time. And it was kind of confirmed by other people as well. I was really tempted to get excited and to rush ahead. But God has gently and repeatedly reminded me that it has to be in his timing. And since then, my life has been a bit of a dot to dot. And I can see that God's sort of gradually joining those dots and making a beautiful picture. But he doesn't always reveal it all at once. And I have to keep remembering to be patient, but also not to stand still. It's a hard sort of balance. It's a dance, isn't it, to try and do it. And actually, one thing I'll add here is that I think we can beat ourselves up very, very easily with shoulds. I should be doing. We should be doing those 5 things. But God will love us whatever. We can just rest in that. And whether we do or don't, that's not going to change how he feels about us. If we do them, we bring blessings to ourselves and we bring blessings to those around. There's a quote that resonates with me. Many have probably heard it. Can I have the next one, please? Sometimes, when you're in a dark place, you feel like you've been buried, but you've actually been planted. So while I've been talking, the children have been putting sunflower seeds, ones which Annie actually harvested from sunflowers in our allotments. There's a real variety, just like us. And on each one, they've been putting them in envelopes, and on each one is the name of somebody in the Bible who had to wait. The challenge is that you take one, they'll be in the bag, and you prayerfully read, you find the story in the Bible and you prayerfully read it, inviting God to speak to you through it. And on the 18th, in our kind of all-in carol service in the morning, there'll be a time where everyone is invited to share their response if you want. There won't be any pressure. And of course, you can also plant the sunflower seed as a reminder that, yes, it's buried and it'll be dormant over the winter months. But in the right time, it will grow roots and they're hidden underground before shooting and growing in size and in strength before finally flowering in those beautiful, bright, joyful, hopeful heads that always face the sun. And it's mine and Jane's prayer that this is a powerful reminder, especially when it's most needed, that our hopes and dreams aren't forgotten. Actually, can I ask children, can you hold up what's written in orange? Do you mind just reading that out together? Yeah, do you mind reading that out? All together? Thank you. So that's just a blessing that's sort of covering those seeds for us all, that we'll find that hope. Colossians 2:7, to be rooted and built up in him, strengthened in faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness. And that rooted thing is so powerful. And I really like plants, and just that analogy of being rooted. And they sway, don't they? We've had wind over the last few weeks, but the trees in my forest school area, I'm watching them, and they're just blowing a hoolie, and they're just going crazy, but they do not move. So just to be rooted is such a. I think we can take it for granted sometimes that we've got this confidence, we've got these promises when storms come. So I just remind us that we are deeply rooted. Christine Kane, I don't know how many people know of her, but she's just a hero of mine, and she's written some brilliant books, and I follow her on Facebook and things, and I'd encourage you to do the same. A couple of weeks ago, as I was sort of preparing this, it popped up, and I think this is really powerful, so I'd just like to share it with you. So Christine Kane says, I'm thinking about those of you who've had your hopes deferred It is so hard to stay in faith and keep moving forward when you feel like you've been kicked in the guts and winded to the point you can't breathe anymore. You're shattered because that opportunity fell through. That person left, that door didn't open, that promotion was given to someone else, that business failed, that marriage died, that friend betrayed you, that child fell away. I know it's disappointing and disheartening. I know you're feeling discouraged, disillusioned, or defeated. I know you think it's over and want to quit.